Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. My name is Trishaan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, and mental health. So if those are some things that interest you, please click on that subscribe button below and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Okay, so today's video is going to be about mommyhood, specifically things that they don't tell you about being a new mom. So some of these things I did know about before becoming a mom, but there were things that I thought I would have control over that I really don't. And some of these things I've been able to navigate, some of these things I'm still trying to figure out. But I did want to have a conversation because I do feel like there's like a certain amount of guilt around talking about these things, and there shouldn't be. It's not that you regret your children. Obviously, all of us love our babies and we wouldn't trade being a mom for the world, but there are a lot of things that women deal with that are just tough. So I put together a few things that I've been dealing with, and I would love to know if some of these things you've been dealing with too, or if you have another set of worries that I haven't even thought about. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. All right, so the first thing that I've dealt with is just realizing that sleep is a luxury and it's not easy to come by. So I had a C-section. I have done a couple videos on just kind of how to recover from a C-section and things to bring to the hospital for a C-section. So I will tag them somewhere here if you guys are interested in that. But basically, during the hospital stay, that's when it started. So it's already hard trying to sleep that third trimester, just trying to find a comfortable place to lay and not be in pain. But I feel like the days that I was in the hospital, I spent 2 days in the hospital and there was like no sleep. First off, I was excited that, I finally had the baby and he's my first child, and the nurses are coming in and out of the room. So I'm not knocking them. I know they have to do it. They have to come and check on you and make sure that you're good to go. But I kid you not, every time I tried to go to sleep, somebody was knocking on the door talking about they had to come take my temperature. They had to do something with the baby. Like it was a mess. And it didn't really get any better when I got home because I was breastfeeding exclusively. So, I'm trying to nurse this wound and then, make sure that my child is fed. And when they're newborns, obviously they're feeding around the clock. So that right there, you're not getting any sleep. I know that people say to sleep when the baby sleeps, which is really good advice. It's way easier said than done because I know me personally, I'm always trying to clean up or do dishes or do something for myself during that time. But I have learned the hard way that if I want to get any type of quality sleep, then I might want to try to do it when he's taking a nap. Things have gotten a lot better now because he is sleeping throughout the night. He may, wake up here and there, but it's not nearly as much as it was when he was, smaller. But yeah, like sleep is definitely a luxury. It's a necessary luxury. Obviously you can't really be healthy without it. So it's something that depending on your child and your situation, you really have to plan it out. You got to figure out how you're going to get enough sleep, because not only do you have to be healthy for your baby and you have to be coherent for your baby, you have to be healthy for yourself. So that's the first thing. Okay, the number 2 thing that I don't feel like a lot of people tell you is that you're not going to be prepared. You could have all the money in the world, you could have all of the supplies in the world, you could have read all the books, you could have done whatever. But this is a new person that you are getting to know, and they're getting to know you as well. And there's just nothing that can prepare you. I feel like I was a little older when I had a baby. I'm in my 30s and I have friends that have had kids in their 20s. And I think that I naively thought that, okay, yeah, I'm a little more established in life. I've gotten the party and club days out, so I'm okay being home. But that still didn't prepare me. It's like my son is very rambunctious. He's got a lot of personality. And let's just say I spend a lot of my days chasing him and making sure that he doesn't get hurt or get into something. We do baby proof, but we have hardwood floors. So a lot of my life is trying to make sure that he doesn't, fall. He's still in that stage where he, throws his head back and all that stuff. And I've even asked my mom, why didn't you tell me about this? And she's like, I told you, but again, every kid is different and you just never know what situation you're going to be in. You never know what you're going to do when presented with certain situations. And so I think if you go in knowing that you're not prepared and, you just do the best that you can, things will be a lot easier to deal with. Okay, the number 3 thing that I don't want to say nobody tells you this, but I don't think I was really prepared for it. You're going to get a lot of overly aggressive, unsolicited advice. Now, let me just say this. Most people do mean well, right? So it could be your mother-in-law giving you advice. It could be your mom giving you advice. It could be other family members or friends giving you advice on different things you should do. Now, when I say unsolicited, I'm not saying that like you can't tell me nothing. That's not what I'm saying. Like, obviously I'm new to this, so there might be things that I legitimately need help on. And so I do welcome telling me how you did things when you had a baby, or correcting me if you think that I'm doing something wrong or harmful, you know, that kind of stuff. But you are gonna get people that expect you to do things exactly the way they did it, or you're doing it wrong. And I think that it's important to like not necessarily check people and jump down their throat or anything. It's no need for that. Remember, at the end of the day, you are the parent. So at like whatever decisions happen regarding that baby are going to be between you and the child's father. So you can take what people say with a grain of salt if it's not something that you agree with. You don't have to necessarily shoot them down or anything like that. Again, a lot of people just want to help, and they mean well, they have good intentions, but you know, sometimes people don't deliver the information in a way that is is helpful, I guess. And so listen to what they say, take the good from it. There might be some things that you're like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. You can always just change the subject, or you can just let them know politely that this is how you plan to do things. You appreciate their input, but you know, you have another way. Whatever the case may be, but just don't let it get you too frustrated or angry, because it's gonna happen. And you just deal with it accordingly. But at the end of the day, you are that child's parent, and so you have the final say. So people can say whatever they want, but you do what you want. All right, the number 4 thing that that I don't feel like I was really prepared for is having a completely new set of worries. So, I mean, obviously you care about your child, and you know, you want to make sure that your child is okay. But I found myself, part of the reason why I wasn't sleeping is because I was staring at this little boy, making sure that he was breathing, making sure he was good. Like, not to say that I thought he wasn't breathing or anything like that, but I don't know. It was just like, I just wanted to make sure that he was good, like at all moments. And so sometimes for me, that meant like not sleeping properly, because I'd be so busy concentrating, putting my hand on his chest to see if he's breathing, or making sure that I see his chest going up and down, or making sure that he's in a comfortable position and not too cold, not too hot, that by the time I, you know, got out of my head and I assured myself that he was okay, he woke up. So yeah, you're going to be worrying about all different types of things. And I wouldn't say beat yourself up about it. It's part of being a parent. You're new to this. I do hear that, you know, it gets a little easier with the second child as far as the worries, because you've gone through it before. But, you know, most parents want the best for their children. They want their children to grow up to be better than they are. So you are going to worry, and it's okay. It's okay. A lot of times the things that we're worrying about are in our heads, but you know, if you have a legitimate worry, like if it's a medical concern or something like that, be sure to consult with a physician. And that may be, you know, one of those times where you want to kind of talk it out with someone if you find yourself like overly worrying. So yeah. All right. The 5th thing is you will need to work in your me time. So I am still trying to figure this out myself. I do feel like it changes like all the time. I'm in a situation where my boyfriend, he does work full time, and I'm with the baby throughout the day, which is okay. But there's not really many things I can do on my own. So I have had to pretty much learn to, like, if I need to take a shower, he's got to be in the bathroom with me. Obviously, he's too small to watch himself if there's no one here. If I don't know, like if I'm cooking or something like that, like I have to figure out a way to, you know, keep him occupied so I can cook freely without having to worry about him getting popped by grease or anything spilling on him. Just a lot of different things. And then even just, you know, having a moment to like read something. I either will get up like early before he wakes up, or sometimes I will create that time when my boyfriend and my baby go to sleep. Then I'll just stay up a little later so I can read, or, you know, do a self-care routine, whatever. I do think it's important to make sure that, like, no matter how you get that me time, you get it. If you have family members close by or friends close by that you trust, that are able to, you know, sit with your child, that your child is comfortable with, use that time to go and, you know, get yourself a manicure, pedicure, go get your hair done, or, you know, whatever makes you feel good. You might even just want to go to the grocery store by yourself. Like, you know, that's self-care too, just to kind of have a moment alone to listen to your music and just kind of be at one without having to, you know, just like have your baby right up under you. So you will definitely have to work that out the best way you can for your situation. Again, I'm still learning, and for me, it's just kind of, I just get in where I can fit in. So I'm sure that'll change one day, but right now, this is where we're at. Okay, number 6. You may experience baby blues or postpartum depression. So that's not necessarily something that we don't know about. We do know about it, but I think that we're just getting to a point where we're really acknowledging it and starting to like have more conversations about it, and people are taking women seriously. So what you got to understand is that your body just went through some crazy changes. Like for the last 9 months, you were growing a baby, and then your body is creating all these hormones. You got extra blood, you gotta pee all the time, like there's things that you can't do. And then, you know, after you have the baby, all those hormones, like they plummet, your hormone levels. And, you know, I mean, now you have this person that you have to care for while you're still healing. So it's a lot of things going on. Again, some women have just simply like post-baby blues, where you just may feel a little down. A lot of it is due to the hormones and just, you know, the changes, the lack of sleep. Maybe you're not eating properly. Like a lot of those things come into play. For some women, it becomes way more serious, where it is actual postpartum depression. You might be in a situation where you know, don't feel like you are at your best to care for your baby. You might not be at your best to care for yourself. And in those situations, you do want to seek professional help, and don't be afraid to do so. If you are having thoughts of harming yourself or harming your baby, or, you know, like if you've just been like in a bad place for too long, like I would say probably more than several days, I would definitely talk to your partner. If they're around, I would talk to, you know, any family members, but definitely seek professional help if it's beyond that. A lot of times, like with your insurance, I know with mine, I was able to talk to my gynecologist, and she was able to refer me to a postpartum group. So I don't think I had a super severe case, but I definitely found myself just a little down because I was just overwhelmed, and it was just a lot of things going on. So yeah, if you are in that situation, just don't be afraid to talk about it with people that you trust, and don't be afraid to get the help that you need, because really, like, your livelihood depends on it, and so does your baby. So do what you need to do to get yourself better, and don't be embarrassed. It's something that a lot of women go through. Like a lot of women, probably more than, you know, than people that actually speak about it. And it's just something that needs to be addressed. Just like if you know, if you have migraines, or if you know, have any other type of pain, like you would address that. So you want to just make sure you address your mental health as well. All right, so the last thing, this might be trivial for some people, but for me, it was like, wait a minute, like really? You may lose your hair. So there's this thing called postpartum shedding, and I don't really understand it completely, so don't quote me on it, but I do, I feel like I've read that it has a lot to do with the hormonal changes and stuff like that, and the fact that during pregnancy, you tend to retain a lot of your strands. Like before you're pregnant, you will shed, you know, so many hairs per day. And during pregnancy, a lot of times you're not shedding as many hairs, which leads to, you know, you've heard of the pregnancy glow, or like your hair being super thick and lush throughout pregnancy. Well, all those hairs that didn't shed during pregnancy, a lot of times are going to come out post-pregnancy. So for some women, that may happen as early as like a couple of months postpartum, or some women it happens a little bit later down the road. It doesn't last forever. And for some women, it's not that severe. Some women it is. It just kind of depends on you. For me specifically, I noticed that my edges were kind of sparse. I was like, wait a minute, like I've always had edges, what happened? And so I noticed that my hair looked a little thin on the edges. And when I was washing my hair and doing my detangling, I had a lot more clumps coming out, and I was just like floored. I couldn't believe it. So that lasted for me for probably like 3 months, I would say. So it started around the time he was like 3 going on 4 months, and it lasted till about the 7th month. So it was, I mean, I don't want to say it was traumatic, because it's not like I was really going anywhere like that, but you know, I've always had a decent amount of hair. So to see that amount of hair coming out, excuse me, and then to see my my edges kind of scarce, I was like, what is going on? So I mean, really, I don't think that there's like a cure for it. You just kind of have to write it out. I've read a lot of different remedies where people will put like Jamaican black castor oil on their edges to kind of activate growth. You want to, I mean, I would say just some simple things to probably do if you're experiencing this is to like keep heat off of your hair. If you normally like use heat tools, probably lay off of that and wear your hair more natural. Wear your hair loosely. Like right now my hair is in a pretty tight bun, but like when I was experiencing the hair loss, I, you know, made sure that my styles were very loose and I would try to wear it out as often as possible. And then with my edges, since like I was a little self-conscious about it, I was wearing more headbands to kind of hide that. So it's just some ways to kind of get you through it, but it is temporary. It happens. It won't last forever. You will get your hair back. All right, guys, so that's all that I have for today's video. This is not a complete list of the things that I didn't realize. This is just the things that really stood out the most to me. I would love to hear if you guys have some things that you didn't realize until after you had a baby. I would love to hear about it. So please leave that in the comments below. If you like videos like this, please give me a big fat thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And with that being said, you guys have an amazing day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.